What up, guys? Welcome back. So today we're talking about the 15 Plus 1 month in. Do I still feel the same way about this device? Would I recommend it? The answer is hell yes. This device has been such a very nice refresh. When I initially heard about the 15 lineup, of course, like every other year, I am gravitating towards the Pro Max, right? I want the best iPhone that you can get. It's going to have the best upgrades. I don't feel like that's the case this year. In my opinion, the 15 Plus is the best bang for buck when it comes to value on an iPhone. Even if you're coming from the 14 last year, the 14 Plus, a much better device. And we're going to explain why that is. If you're new to the channel, guys, hit that like, drop a sub. But the 15 Plus, I did an initial review. I did a 2 weeks later review. And now the 1 month in with this device. The one thing I do wish, I love the muted colors. I love that you can never see fingerprints. The infused color with the glass and the aluminum and the rounded edges make this device very comfortable to hold. And it's also very slippery. Throw a case on it, but the color is muted. I wish I would have gotten the black. So I did have the black 15, which I love the color, and I wish the 15 Plus was in black. That is my favorite color. This looks white, but this is their version of blue this year. And it's, it's muted, it's cool, I like it. I throw a case on it anyway, it's all good, but if I could do it all over again, I would get the black color. But the build quality on here, these rounded edges on this device this year, it's just a pleasure to hold. It's super lightweight. It doesn't have that sharp edge that got uncomfortable like on the 14 Pro Max last year, the 13 Pro Max before that, and even the 12 before that. The most comfortable iPhone to hold since the 11 Pro Max was released years and years ago. The display on here, dynamic island, the same display you're getting on the 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max, the same brightness on here. I believe it's, I don't even remember the exact number, up to 2000 nits max brightness in direct sunlight, which is more than enough, extremely bright. You're not gonna have any issues outside in direct sunlight using this device. Now, another thing, we're not gonna get into all the specs, 6.7-inch display, blah, blah, blah. We're not gonna do all that because honestly, there are just a few things I love about this device and why I would recommend it. The first one, the display. You're getting the same look, the same experience that you would on the Pro Max, 6.7-inch, the same Pro XDR display on here, and the speakers on here watching content. I'm gonna let you listen to the speakers right now so you can hear my guy El Jefe during his live stream.
Rich, full sound that Earfund has become known for. Not to mention the ability to apply any of the included 10 presets or even using your own custom EQ. So as far, I did show you guys my custom EQ that I had in there. It's mostly a bump in the mid-range because I wanted to add some additional vocal.
So watching content on here. If you like to watch movies on your phone, if you like to browse YouTube like we all do on our phones, well, watching content will be a joy. You get a bright screen, you get a beautiful AMOLED display, you get some great speakers on here. And if you like to game on your phone, you're gonna be able to do that with no problem. The A16 Bionic, the same one that's in the Pro and Pro Max last year. So you're getting, this is basically the 14 Pro and Pro Max from last year minus the one lens, but you're getting better pictures, better quality of pictures because the upgraded software in here that we didn't have last year on the 14 and 14 Pro Max. I want to repeat that. This is basically the 14 Pro Max from last year without the one lens, without the 120 hertz refresh rate, but with better battery and the ability to take better pictures with the wide angle and the ultra wide. You're not getting that telephoto. You do have digital zoom on here, so when you zoom in from a 48 megapixel camera, you're not losing as much detail, so you are still getting good pictures on here. And I use this device for all of my B-roll. The only reason I'm not using it now for my B-roll is because I'm using it in this video. But for photos, for video, this is my go-to. All of my screenshots, all of my pictures for my thumbnails and my videos are taken on this device. B-roll on this device. Video is, if somebody, can I get one phone for video? If I want to start a YouTube channel and I just want to use my phone, what would it be? It's going to be an iPhone. And of course, video on an iPhone has been good for a long time, so you can get different iPhones. But for this, video on here is fantastic. Taking photos on here, fantastic. No issues. I'm not missing that telephoto at all. At all. The digital zoom is fine. The quality is good. I don't feel like I'm missing out. This is the first year I can say that. I don't feel like I'm missing out getting the cheaper iPhone. In the past, you could never say that. You could never say last year with the 14 Plus that you weren't missing out on the 15 Pro Max. And yes, should this be a higher refresh rate? Absolutely. It's still $899 starting price. There are Android devices for $250, $300 that have 120 hertz refresh rate. Apple didn't do it because why would you ever buy the 15 Pro Max if this had 120 hertz refresh rate? I get it. Do I want it? Sure, give me 90 at least. But again, scrolling on here, I'm going to say it again. Scrolling on an iPhone, it's just different than an Android. Is it different than 120? Of course it is. Do I miss 120? Sure. Do I care? A little. I do care a little, but it's not a deal breaker for me. I'm still okay with 60 hertz on an iPhone. I'm not going to say that on an Android device. However, although my main device is still, I have it in my pocket, the OnePlus 11 is my main device still. This is my work phone, my second phone that I'm using. Now, the next thing about this device is the battery life. If I want to watch content, right, you're getting a phone to watch content. You're getting a phone. I'm a power user, so I'm getting a phone to watch content, to play games. I don't really game, though. I take that back. I don't really game on here at all. I'm getting a phone to watch content, to take B-roll with, to text all day, to go through emails, business-wise, to use all day long, responding to emails, digital slang emails, as well as my print shop emails. I want this to last all day, a minimum of a day, right? That's what we want. It's kind of the standard now. We want a phone to last a day. This is a day and a half, 2 days with no issues, whatever. I've had over 7-8 hours screen on time on this device, easy. I don't even look at it anymore. I don't care because I know it can last me throughout the day and I don't even have to charge it up the following night or the next day. I usually plug it in for like 20, 30 minutes every second day and I'm good. And that's just how I roll with this device. Battery life on here is insane. It's crazy. And I always thought that the 13 Pro Max was the battery king when it comes to iPhones. This takes the cake. If you want a phone with the best battery that I've ever used, it's the 15 Plus right now. Better battery than the Pro Max, the Pro, and the 15. Just remember that. So you're getting an incredible display with great speakers. You're getting fantastic battery life, a phone that takes great video, and a phone that takes fantastic photos, better than the Pro Max of last year and the Pro. Now, the Pro Max of this year still has the advantages when it comes to photos because they get that extra lens, but between that and 120 hertz, other than those two things, there is no reason that you should not just go with the 15 Plus. If you don't need those things, the 15 Plus is the better buy. It is hundreds of dollars cheaper than the Pro Max. And for me, the difference in price does not justify what we're missing from one phone to the next. Now, Dynamic Island on here. Again, when you look at this device, no notch, right? Last year on the 14 and the 14 Plus, we had the notch. This year, we do have Dynamic Island. So it is very easy to feel like you're not missing out, right? A lot of people have FOMO, the fear of missing out. You feel like you're not getting the best of the best when it comes to the iPhone, but we do get Dynamic Island on here, and it's not just an eyesore hiding Face ID like the notch was. This is usable depending on what app you are using. There are good amounts of use cases for Dynamic Island to just use, and it is functional, and I like that. I was never a fan of Dynamic Island until I started using it more. I forced myself to use it more, and now you can just use it to just remember Force Touch? It feels like that with Dynamic Island a little bit, where you can touch on something and it'll give you a pop-up window and you can use it that way. And I like it. I still prefer the hole punch like we get on Android phones, and hopefully we get that eventually on an iPhone. But for now, this is good. For now, it's the best display we're going to get, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on the 15 Plus compared to the 15 Pro Max when it comes to the look and the display. I actually feel like there's a shitload of value in this device, the 15 Plus. But again, I'm not going to get into specs. It's just a fantastic device. 1 month in, do I recommend it? It's an easy hell yes. Of course, I recommend the 15 Plus. A lot of good things. The two negatives are It's missing the lens, which I don't care about because digital zoom on here is really good because of the upgraded 48 megapixel camera on here and the refresh rate. If that is a deal breaker for you, then spend the extra $300 and get the Pro Max. For me, 120 hertz is not worth $300. I know for some people it is, and that's cool. You know, to each their own. For me, 60 hertz on an iPhone is different than 60 hertz on an Android device. It's always been that way. It's always been smoother on iOS. Do I wish it was at least 90? Of course I do. I'm right there with you guys, but it's not a deal breaker for me. That's the two things that we're missing out on the 15 Plus. Other than that, it's one of the best iPhones I can honestly say that I think has ever been made, the 15 Plus. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you got it. Let me know what color you got. Hit that like, drop a sub. Check out the links below. I do have a new store up with a lot of t-shirt designs, more to come. Let me know what you guys think. A lot more designs coming for t-shirts and sweatshirts for the winter time. Let me know. That's it, guys. I'll be back soon. Peace.